last years of your life, how many of these fears became true? And if you really look at it, it's really rarely that it became true. So that shows you, don't believe your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's always about, when I look at, when I'm not sure, should I believe this thought or this thought, or should I believe this person or that person? Don't look at what they are saying. Don't look at what the thought is telling you, because this sounds logical. This also sounds logical, but it's completely different. So who's right?
Yeah.
Join the journey, stay for a while.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of KohPhanCast, the official podcast of KohPhangan Island. And this week with me, the great and powerful Samim. Samim is a professional personal coach for self-development, for finding your purpose. He came here to talk about meaning, about purpose, about self-control, about mind games, about the ego. We had a really great conversation. And before we get into it, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the channel, write in the comments what you liked about this conversation, and let's get into it. KohPhanCast. Enjoy the episode. Samim, super good to have you here with me, brother.
Thank you for
How I
having me.
got familiar with you is from a good friend of mine, Achia, that met you, and he told me, listen, bro, you gotta have this guy. Something about the energy, something about the way you perceive yourself and you perceive reality just clicked for him. And if it clicks for him, it clicks for me. So first of all, I want to thank you a lot for being here with me.
Sure.
And another thing is, it's morning. Usually I do my podcast around 6, 7 p.m. That's the first time I'm doing a morning one. So let's have some fun. And let's start by you explaining a little bit, like, who are you? Give me a little introduction.
Sure.
Yeah, you can take it back to you, have fun with it. Yeah, it's all good.
Cool. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
Definitely.
We had a short little meeting before that. I really felt the energy, and I feel like you are already on the path of your purpose. Purpose. This today we're gonna talk about this probably, because this is my fucking field of expertise.
Good.
Cool. So yeah, what can I tell you about me? I left Germany 3 months ago. I was born in Germany. So I spent my whole life there. My parents are from Afghanistan. That's why I maybe don't look like the stereotypical German. And my background is, I had a company in Germany. So my first company was in the fitness industry, and there I helped people to fulfill their purpose if the purpose had something to do with fitness. And what we created was a fitness workout made of breakdance and fitness, and the product was a trainer certification. So people who wanted to help other people develop their bodies and their health, but didn't know how to do it, we gave them everything they needed. So without knowing, I already helped people fulfilling their purpose in a specific field. This was really successful. We certified over 3,000 trainers all over the world, mainly in Germany. But for example, we have also a big community in Japan with hundreds of trainers. So yeah, sometimes I still think like, wow, it really spread out. And I think it will become even bigger, but without me now, because I left this company 3 months ago in order to travel the world and to start a new company. And the new company is, I help people find their purpose and to fulfill it. Because that's the second question. After you find out what your purpose is, you're like, wow, I really want to do this. I'm really passionate about it. That's all I want to do. But I also have to pay my bills.
Yeah.
So then I guide people and coach them and show them how they can build a living out of their purpose. So this is a new company I'm building right now since 3 months. And that's also the time when I arrived here in KohPhangan. And my idea was to, like I said, to travel around. But there's something about this place. It's called the Sticky Island. And I think people come here for different reasons. But when they arrive, you will find out the real reason why you're here. And the real reason why I'm here is to spread my teachings already here on this island. And we live in a special time right now. It's the times of awakening.
Yeah.
Everything will change in the next years. And I'm sure that this island will play a special role in the whole process. And that's also why I'm here. And that's why many, many other people are guided here. And I think that's why you are here as well.
So first of all, thank you so much. Yeah, I do want to believe that, I am pursuing my purpose, because what
like
other reasons do you have to live other than to pursue
right.
what you want to do,
100%.
A lot of people that are going around saying, oh yeah, I'm going to work and I'm going to make money and everything is going to be comfortable. But something is always missing when you pursue targets that you were told to pursue instead of targets that you chose to pursue by yourself. So, yeah, I do believe that this place will have an amazing and a huge part of this core change that our world needs. That's for sure. And before we go, and you said that the magic word for me, it's passion. Passion is what drives me and what drives everybody to achieve something, And before we go and talk about the teachings and the things that we give others, explain to me a little bit, when did you meet your own purpose? Did you have time in your life that you were not like divided from yourself, not with yourself? Like, tell me a little bit about the background.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on a journey like everyone, and your purpose is a path. It's not like, oh, now I have my purpose, now I am my purpose. No, you have to develop yourself. Your life is a path, and your development is a metamorphosis. You go through stages. It's like the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You cannot just become a butterfly.
Yeah.
It's not possible. The caterpillar has to go inside a cocoon, has to have certain experiences in order to become the butterfly. And oftentimes we are afraid of exactly these experiences, which are needed. Where everyone wants to become a butterfly, but nobody wants to go through these experiences.
Yeah.
Because they're not always easy.
Mm-hmm.
So I started living my life really like I was following my passion often, really often in my life. I was following my passion, not following what society was telling me to do, not following what my parents were telling me to do. So I had a lot of different passions, and I always tried to make money with them. So then I didn't need a extra job for the income, because I could just do what I love. So I did different things. For over 20 years, I'm breakdancing, and I did this on a professional level. And together with my breakdance crew, we won the German championship in 2011. So I was giving breakdance classes, I was on stage and earning money with it. But then I also became a freelance web designer and a media designer in general, which was also something that I loved. And I started doing photography and videography, and I did all this on a professional level, so I was able to make a living out of it also. And this is what I tell you is already like 15 years ago. So I was living the life of a digital nomad before the word was existing in Germany, at least.
Yeah.
And then, together with my business partner, we created 8 years ago, we created this fitness workout, fitness and meets breakdance. And first it was called Breakletics. Now it's called Hit the Beat, because it's more accurate in the description of what you will experience in this class. So when I look at my past, unconsciously, I was already on my path. And this is true for everyone. You cannot not be on your path.
Yeah.
So the different stations, they all gave me different puzzle pieces I use now in order to help other people. Because what do I do? When I help them discover their purpose and then make a living out of their purpose most of the time has something to do with helping other people and spreading your gift. And people get a special gift through overcoming their own obstacles. And then when you learn how to overcome these certain obstacles, you can help other people who have the same path in front of them. In order to spread your gift, you need to tell your story. You need to get the word out. You need to become visible. So what I did as a media designer, as a web designer, as a photographer and a videographer was already learning how to present yourself in the best way possible in the digital world. And this is something, these are different puzzle pieces I use for myself, but also for other people. And there was also always a question in my mind when I was younger, when I was still finishing school, if I should do something in the creative direction, like being a photographer, designer, or if I should do something in the scientific direction. And first I decided to go to the scientific direction, so I started to study physics. But after one semester, I learned that it doesn't fulfill me. It's still, to this day, super, super interesting. And I still have these two parts in myself, the heart and the mind. The heart always following my passions and the intuition, but always also having the scientific mind and trying to understand what the world is made of. And then I had a time during my company in the fitness industry where I was working, where I was building this company, Breakdancing, and then I was discovering that I can change. Of course, we are changing our whole lives, but this was really purposefully. And this maybe between 4 to 6 years ago. And through discipline and personal development and inner work, I was able to reprogram myself and to, become a more successful version of myself. But it was still very mind-driven and fear-driven. Oh, I have to do this, otherwise this and that will happen.
Safety.
For me, it was more the fear was this is not a big fear for me, safety. I don't need it because I'm always lucky. Things work out for me. This is something I learned. But what drove me was not fulfilling my potential. This was what I was really afraid of. And then I learned that I can change, and it works. It helped me really progress, not only in my life, but also with my company. Yeah. This was the moment I saw big jumps. But I thought every kind of programming would be possible. So I was like, how far can I take this? Right. And then I was like, okay, I don't need time for fun anymore or for taking care of myself. Why? I will just program myself that I don't need it. And then I stopped doing sports, which was also really important for me my whole life. I stopped being creative, and I could watch myself how I got unhappier and unhappier.
Yeah.
And also I didn't become more successful. So this was a dead end. This didn't work. And then I started to do more inner work. So this was really a time where I was not happy and I really needed a change. And then I went to a NLP seminar, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Basically, it's a lot of inner work. That's what I did for over 1 year. And I continued this path. And I think it starts with discipline. Then you call it personal development, then it becomes inner work, then it becomes spirituality. It's the same path. Yes, and now I understand the mind is important as long as it's led by the heart. And this was something I lost. When I was younger, I did a lot of things out of passion, but in this phase of my life where I was trying to reprogram myself and to see how far I can take it, I was really building the cocoon. So it was like a hard shell and encompassing my heart and my soul, and I really didn't have any access to myself anymore. I was just the mind, and I forgot who I really was.
Yeah.
And I remember asking my sister, what are emotions for? They're just in the way. But really, what are they for? I don't understand. And I tried to use the mind to understand the soul and emotions. And of course, it was not working. And slowly, through the mentor I had in the NLP, slowly I was getting more and more access to myself and becoming myself again, and understanding how it really should work, that the heart is leading the mind. Then it works, not the other way around.
So I totally agree with you. Like, trying to figure out what the heart is thinking, only through the mind is not possible, because it's like trying to understand the language when you don't even talk it, at some point. And you're like, and you're like thinking to yourself, okay, I can make some rational decisions based on my mind and just go with it, and it will not work. But also doing the opposite, as I see life, and my perception tells me that, like, even if I will go, okay, only on the heart and not listen to the mind at all, something will miss also. You know what I mean? So there is something that I learned past few years about balance between them. Like we talked in our little conversation that we have, that I told you, like, the mind really has no answers and the heart has no questions. But in order to create a complete situation, you need to answer a question. You cannot go only with answers, as I see it. You cannot go only with answers or only with questions, because the entire formula is to base them together. There's a thing called Trilo therapy. It's like being this, I'm going to butcher this, so hang on. There's this ability to just be your own psychologist and just sit there with your heart and with your mind and let them talk to each other. When does my heart is not reacting to my mind? And when does my mind is not reacting to my heart? And what's the reasons they cannot co-create? Because at the end of the day, both of them are a part of you. So if both of them are a part of you and you're trying to go against one of them, no matter who you go against, you're going against yourself. So at the end of the day, as I see it, everything's surrounding around acceptance and empathy. And like, I know that my way of view is super circular and super emotional. I know that. But then I understand.
Sorry, your view of what?
My perception of life.
Yes.
Is super rounded. Everything is super spiritual. Everything is super accepting and loving. But I know that I am missing this part of this sharp, decision making and chance taking. And did you always have been this guy to make the decision, to make the rational decision, to crave through life, to go through things, to let's do it automatically, or was it a skill that you end up developing for yourself?
First, I want to say something to what you said.
Definitely.
First, when you started talking, and then I will answer your question about the mind and the heart, and what is the job of the mind and the heart. And I think if you try to decide with your mind, it doesn't work, because the mind has no answers, like you said. So you have to decide with your heart. You use your heart for what do I want to do, and then the mind comes in and tells you how to do it. That's the job of the mind. Never mix them up, otherwise bad shit will happen. So that's how I see it. And about your question, yes, I was kind of always this person who always went for his passions, and I'm not afraid to try out new things. It's a lot of fun for me. Even when I go to a restaurant, I try to try new things all the time. But there was something else I also wanted to say.
It will come back to you. It's all good. So let's get into the whole the teaching. When did you see yourself being able to teach others? Because there needs to be some sort of like acceptance with yourself, or like this, you need to feel ready to teach, if that's the right way to describe it. When was the time that you told yourself, okay, I'm ready to give it to others?
Yeah, so when people are not ready or they don't feel ready, it's another trick of your mind. The mind just has one job to prevent you from growing.
Yeah.
That's what I think. It's always, what could go wrong? And if it doesn't find something, it will create something.
Yeah.
So I think it's bullshit to say I'm not ready, because you think you have an image in your mind that you're like, oh, if I'm a teacher, I have to be this, and I will stand in front of people, and then this is so official, and maybe I don't see myself there yet, and I'm not ready yet. But you are ready to start going to this path, and you will not have this class tomorrow, and you will not stand in front of people tomorrow. It's a process, and it's never too early to start the process, right? It's like a baby saying, oh, I'm not ready to walk. Yeah, of course, but you're ready to crawl and do the steps and learn to walk, because you will never feel ready to walk if you don't crawl first.
Yeah.
Right? And then I say you cannot not fulfill your purpose. So probably you, if you are supposed to be a teacher, probably you are teaching already. You are having specific conversations with your friends. They come to you for advice. So you are already living your purpose. It's just not this official image you created in your head, the mind created in your head, to prevent you from going for it.
And what do you do about it? What do you do when you find yourself with a 10 or 12 or 15 years old of a virus inside your mind that tells you again and again that you're not enough, that nothing will ever work, that like, what are you doing about something like that?
I think what will heal these kinds of thoughts and what will heal the world is the truth. And the truth is that the world is good, that good things happen, that there is no failure. You cannot fail. Just try it, go for it. If it's your purpose, it's meant to be, right? And if you look at your past, there are so many different stations you already went through without knowing, which already prepared you for your purpose your whole life. So why did this work? Why should it suddenly now stop working? The universe will prepare you for everything, and at the end it says, no, it was just a joke. It will not work for you. Yeah. I got you. This is God. Oh, I got you. Of course, that's bullshit. And what will heal these kinds of thoughts is the truth. What do I mean by this? So there is a fear. Each thought is based on fear. For example, I'm not good enough. People will see I'm a fraud. I'm not able to help them. Okay, these are the thoughts, but what is the reality? Convince yourself, look at it. And then I ask these people, okay, when did you talk to someone and it did not work? And you were not able to help them. You said you were not doing it professionally right now, but you already had some conversation with your friends where they came for advice. Yeah, this was actually really good and it really helped them. You see, that's the reality. And don't believe your thoughts, believe in reality. And if your thoughts don't have a base in reality, then they are not true. And you can even do experiments. Okay, let's see. So when's the next time you are meeting with a friend? And probably you will talk about what? Some problems, and then you can give them some advice. Okay, let's ask the mind what it thinks what will happen, and it's probably something negative.
Yeah.
Write it on the left side, like really make a table for yourself. On the left side, you write down the fears, and then do it. And then on the right side, write down what really happened. And I did this for myself for over 2 years. And not one time the fear became true.
Yeah.
You can ask yourself, all the things you worry about, all the things you're afraid about, look at the last years of your living. Last years of your life. How many of these fears became true? And if you really look at it, it's really rarely that it became true. So that shows you don't believe your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's always about when I look at when I'm not sure, should I believe this thought or this thought, or should I believe this person or that person? Don't look at what they are saying. Don't look at what the thought is telling you, because this sounds logical. This also sounds logical, but it's completely different. So who's right?
Yeah.
And the Bible has an answer for this.
Okay.
It says it depends on the fruits which come out of believing this thought or believing that thought. So what will happen if I behave like this, and what will happen if I behave like that? And then you look at the fruits, and then you can understand which way is the right way, which path is the right path. And it will be very, very clear, because usually if you believe your thoughts, it will mean that you don't move forward. There's no growth and you stay the same.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself, do I really want that? No. Then this means this is the real intention of the thought. It's not true. It's just there to prevent you from growing.
And there's also something about just doing things that allows you to, like you said, you cannot walk before you know how to crawl. So you cannot be confident in something if you're not learning how to be confident in it.
Right.
You know, because I was probably thinking about starting this probably like 3 years before I actually started it. You know, and at some point you just tell yourself, okay, bro, the circumstances will never be perfect.
Right.
You will never have this amazing, fucking beautiful beginning that you wish for. You just need to start and create it. And you will not have millions of views on your first episode, and it will not be the most beautiful thing you've ever done at the first time. But as long as you keep going, eventually you're gonna get there. And it doesn't even matter where you're gonna get to. All that matters is that you do the things that you fear of, that you do the things that make you step out of your comfort zone, that you do the things that you care about, because you're not going to be the version that you want to be if you don't do the things that you need to do in order to be that version. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A thing about you specifically, it's when we had our little talk and suddenly your eyes shined when you mentioned the key. What?
Key, I have it with me here.
And you didn't want to explain over there, and I wanted to save it to here. So please, can you explain me a little bit about the key?
Yes. Like most things I talk about, 99%, I didn't read about them or learned about them in a traditional way. I have this connection to the universe where I channel the information I get. And this started like 2.5 years ago. And to this day, I get every day new insights, and it's about everything. It's the blueprint of the whole world, about the human mind. How does it really work? What are the laws our universe obeys? And yeah, how does everything work? So this is now what the thing what I was pursuing for such a big part of my life, through science and through other ways, like how does the world really, really work? And now I am getting exactly these kinds of information every day, and it's the truth of everything, the most basic truth of everything. And this is this I call the key, because it's the key to all problems of humanity right now. And I think every person has a purpose, every being has a purpose. And nowadays, the people I meet, their purpose has something to do with creating this new world. We are living in the times of awakening. And I think why am I getting these informations? I think it's a really important part of building the new world, of creating the new world, because it's the blueprint how to do it. Yeah, I know how it sounds, and I was like this when it started. I was like, oh, can this be true? It's so crazy, but when I look at the information, it's so it must be true. And then I start changing things in my life according to this information, and made my life better and better and better. When I started to tell other people about this, it also changed their lives. So this is what I have to do now. I have to spread the word about these things, about how life is supposed to be lived because we forgot how to live life. We are in a dead end, I think, in the Western society especially. And yeah, if we have the most basic questions about life, we have to Google. What should I eat? What is healthy? What is not healthy? Oh, I cannot sleep. How can I fall asleep? Or how can I raise my children? How can I do this? How can I do this? And there's nothing left for your intuition and your inner voice. And we forgot how to live life, how to human.
And what is the basic, specific way that you see that a person needs to live his life in order to be happier, more fulfilling, more...
Yeah, so the main thing is there is no rule.
Yeah.
This is right and this is wrong. Rules are programming. This is how the mind works.
Yeah.
And because we are so mind-driven nowadays, of course we look for rules. And we look and research what is the right way what are the rules to live your life. But there are no rules. For every rule, there is an exception.
Yeah.
You can never find a rule. Like, it's about money. Oh, it's about happiness, for example. I can give you many examples where you have to choose something which doesn't make you happy in order to grow, for example.
Yeah.
And then you will feel better. So, but still, I want to give you an answer. It's about listening to your inner voice. And this will tell you in the right moment, in the right situation, what to do. And not only in the situation, but also with your whole life. And this is your purpose then. And this is what many teachers understood in the past. For example, religions, they are not there to teach you rules. We forgot this. We think they are trying to teach us rules. No, the rules are the side dish, so to say. They are there so you can listen to your inner voice. And the rules are there. It's guidance which helps you to calm down the voices in your mind so you can listen to the voice in your heart. And then you can live a good life. So, for example, in Islam, you have 5 times prayer a day. What is this? This is like 5 times doing a meditation every day, and some movement like yoga. And fasting is also part of the Muslim culture, religion. So these things help you find yourself again and hear your inner voice, because that's what it's all about. When you listen to your inner voice, it will tell you how to live a good life, what to do in life, what to pursue in life. So it's all about calming the voices of your mind. And I give you another example from Christianity. You have the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly things are wrong paths you can lose yourself. Like eating too much, having too much sex, thinking about sex all the time. And all the different 7 deadly sins are things when you pursue them too much, then the mind voice will become too loud and you cannot hear your inner voice anymore. So if I would formulate 7 modern deadly sins, I would put social media in there, or weed, or porn addiction, and things like this. So it's not about the rules. Like 7 deadly things. Eating is nothing bad, and having sex is nothing bad. But losing yourself in it and pursuing this as a false path, this is bad, and because then you cannot hear your inner voice. So all what they tried to do was help us to hear our inner voice more clearly. And this will tell you exactly what to do in your life. And it's there are some guidelines, but what I do in my coachings and in my teachings is to talk to the person and specifically find out what is their situation, and then also listen to their inner voices, be it from the mind or from the heart, and then together with the person find out what is the inner voice telling them. So I can help them to gain more clarity. But if you also do this other stuff like reducing social media or meditating, it will also help you to hear your inner voice more clearly.
So let's differentiate between the voices that you have in your mind and your
Yes.
inner voice, how you call it. How do you make a difference between what's your inner voice and what are all the other voices that stay inside your mind or wherever it comes from the infinite, whatever the fuck?
So this is a really important part of the things I do research on, is like, how is the mind working? How does it function? Where do these voices come from? And they are all driven by fear.
Yeah.
And there are so many things people fear. Oh, I fear this and this and this and this. But when we look at these specific things you fear, you will find out when, oh, maybe this and this, it's the same fear. And this and this and this is also the same fear. So when you go back and ask yourself, okay, why am I afraid of this? What will happen? And then you are like, oh, it's just my fear of not succeeding, or it's my fear of not being good enough. So there are a couple of fears which all come down to. And these are things which happened in your past, which traumatized you.
Yeah.
And now it's like when something smells like the situation which traumatized you, it's just reminiscent of these past situations, then suddenly it's like you have a VR glasses on, and you think, your whole body thinks, oh shit, I'm back in this situation, I have to do something now to avoid this bad thing which happened to me. So this is how the voices are created. So you have different voices in your head which are rooted in trauma, and they are all fear-driven. So when you look at the sentence, I have to do this, otherwise X will happen. Otherwise X will happen. It's always the second part which shows you, which proves it's a fear which drives you.
Yeah.
And the inner voice from the heart, there's no reasoning behind it. I have to do this because even if you take away all the different reasons, because the thing what your heart tells you will make sense, multidimensionally out of a lot of reasons. But even if you take away all the reasons, you still want to do it. And it's driven by love. It's driven by passion. This is one way to distinguish the voices.
Yeah, honestly, as I see it in my system of how things are working for me, I see exactly what you're saying, but I call it in different words. It's like you have problems or situations which are root, and some of them are branches. You know, so the things that are branches are coming off of the root, and if you continue to cut the branches, but the root is still there, the branches will manifest itself again and again and again as problems. You know, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable enough, I'm not this, because it's driven from the same fear. You know, if you don't cut the root of the fear, which is, why do I think I'm not enough? What in my trauma made me understand or think that I am not enough? Like, can you take me through something of yours, like a trauma that you recognized that you had, and how you finished it, how you solved it?
Yeah, there are different ways to get rid of fears and to get rid of trauma. And it's about making the unconscious conscious, because this is programming which is so deeply engraved in yourself you don't even think about it. I had a problem with letting other people help me. And every time someone was helping me, offering me something, maybe I was sitting in my office and the employee came and gave me a coffee without asking. This I really had a problem with this, because in my mind they were like, oh, you cannot do this on your own. I have to do it for you. You are too dumb or too weak to do it on your own. And then this generated a lot of conflict, of course. And I had another fear that when I say no to these things, they don't understand it and will feel bad about it.
Yeah.
So this is oftentimes happening, that you have two fears which heighten each other, right? So this was already something I had to find out. Oh, it's always these situations where someone tries to help me. It was not clear for me. Why am I angry in certain situations? So this was the first step, to understand what is the trigger, to make this more conscious for myself. And then I went back to my childhood to really understand how this happened, because every fear is like a knot inside your soul. And the more you understand the knot, how it was formed and how it really looks like, it will loosen up the knot and it will help you to get rid of it. And then I found out that I had a situation as a child. I'm not sure how old I was, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 years old. And I really wanted to do something on my own. And I was really proud to do it on my own. Maybe it was something simple like putting my shoes on my own. And then I was there with my mother, and maybe she didn't have time. The situation was stressful, and I was like, oh, I want to do it myself. And she didn't listen to me. She put on the shoes for me, and I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't want her to do it, and I really wanted to do it myself. And it was like, it really went against my will, and I felt so sad and betrayed. And it was like, I tried everything and I said everything and I cried and I screamed and I did everything. And this person whom I love and who loves me and who's my world, she just pretended like I don't exist. So then I understood where it comes from, which already helped me to loosen up the knot more and more. And then there are different techniques with NLP. There's the technique to go back in your memories, really feel it, like you are there again, and then try to change the situation. Give my mother different feelings, give my younger me different feelings and a different understanding, which will loosen up the knot more and more and more. And there's also an additional way to lose fears, is to do the thing you are afraid of, or accept the thing you're afraid of, and see that the fear does not become true. Again, it's the truth which can heal these kind of thoughts and the trauma. So when I'm afraid that the other person maybe thinks I'm not competent, I cannot do it myself, I can ask, hey, sorry, I'm afraid that you brought this because you thought I cannot do it on my own. Sorry, it's just in my mind. Can you really quickly tell me your intention behind it? Even if it sounds stupid saying this out loud, but the fear still thinks it's real. So you have to find out what is the truth, and then whatever they say, believe them. And in this way you can gather a lot of evidence that your fear is not true. Evidence, this is truth.
Yeah, the truth is that you can just allow yourself to be vulnerable, and you can just put out your voice as it is. Because if you don't know what's the intention behind someone doing something, you can ask, like you say, and instead of being like thrown into our inner voice again and again, not the real inner voice, like you say, like all the mental voices that you have that are like, oh, don't ask, and you know what he's thinking, and it comes from this based on that, and like if we all could have been just a little bit more open, just a little bit less trying to seem secure and actually being self-secure, self-confident in the way that, like, I'm so self-confident that I'm willing to show my vulnerability and just allowing others to see what I really think. I not need to be in this mask 24/7 and like, oh, I need to look mysterious and I need to be this. You can just be yourself and everything will be okay, and the demon is never as bad as you think it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And this is the same thing we talked about a minute ago when I said, don't believe your thoughts. Look at what the thoughts will lead to. Okay, if I am afraid of X, but I'm also afraid to ask about if it's really like this or not, then the thought is just there to prevent me from asking, to prevent me from finding out, from preventing the chance that I grow. So it's not true that it will make me look dumb, for example, if I ask. This is not true. Maybe this is what the mind tells me. But what is really true is what comes out of it if I believe this thought. What will it lead to? And it will lead to myself not growing. Myself taking away the chance from myself to understand the truth.
And do you think there's a reason for it? Like, why would our own mind try and... I know you cannot answer for the mind, but...
Maybe
why?
I can.
Maybe you can. Who knows? Please, bring it on me. But why would the thing that is so implemented in us try to make us not grow, try to keep us where we are? Is it because of comfort zone or like, enlighten me?
Yeah, I have this image I draw.
You can send it to me. I will put it here.
Okay, cool. And on the one side, you have the different stages of your metamorphosis. Let's talk about the tadpole, which becomes frog. First, the being is an egg, and out of the egg comes a tadpole, and this tadpole will become a frog. The tadpole and the frog are totally different beings, right? You look at them and they look completely different. One lives inside of water, the other one breathes air and can jump and looks completely different. But is it a different being? No, it's the same being which changed its form. So on the right side, I have the different stages of your of the form. The egg, then the tadpole, then the frog. And on the left side, it's what you really are, because you are the whole metamorphosis. You're the whole path. So on the left side, you have the driver, and on the right side, you have the car. And the car changes, but the driver stays the same. It's the same consciousness. And whenever you go vertically and you grow, then this is fulfillment. This is growth of your soul. This feels good. This is fulfilling your purpose. Fulfilling your purpose is becoming your true self, going through the metamorphosis. So this is vertical. But thoughts and the mind, they are part of the form of the car. And the what brought you to one stage is something else than what you need for the next stage. So the thoughts and the programming of a tadpole is completely different than the programming of a frog. So for example, how it looks at the world. It's like, oh, water is here, so I can swim in it. This is what the tadpole is thinking. Water is good. The breathing water is good. Going out of the water is bad. So it has a set of rules of programming, what is good and what is bad. And when you have this set, this will make you behave like a tadpole. This will make you become a tadpole. It's about what is, how they behave, what is good, what is bad. But then, if you want to get to the next stage, you have to forget everything what brought you here and lose this programming and get a new programming. And the new programming sometimes is completely different than the one you had before. First, you're like, breathing water is good. And then as a frog, you are like, no, breathing air is good. So it's good to be able to change, to be able to lose your programming, to get the new programming. And this is growth, and this will make you feel good. But when you are at one stage, when you are a tadpole, then your job is to become the best tadpole you can be.
Yeah.
And then the mind will help you to find the right rules and make you locked into this form. So it tries to keep you there. This is the horizontal thinking. This is why, it doesn't want to change. It's like, okay, I found this and I need to be locked in here. But only as long as it's right to stay at this stage. And then when you outgrow the stage, then the mind has to let go. And this is the problem nowadays with humanity, that we identify too much with the right side, with the form, and we forgot that we can become the frog. And we are like, no, I have to stay like this, otherwise I will die.
This is me.
This
This
me.
is who I am. Identifying with your thoughts and identifying with your emotion and identifying with the situation. Like the moment you just take yourself out of the equation and you just look at it for what it is, it's much simpler.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason we can give such good advices for others, but sometimes we're having like tougher time to give them to ourselves, is because we are involved in it. It's because we think that we are, oh no, it's different because I see the entire thing and this and that. And like you said, such an important thing about unlearning, about having the ability to like know when do you need to learn and know when you need to forget what you already learned. Because most of the things that are stopping us from achieving the things that we want to do is the false beliefs that we had in so many things that used to serve us. Like you said, the tadpole bear versus the frog.
Right.
It used to serve me, yeah, but at what point and how can I recognize when thing that helped me is no longer serving me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not easy to understand this and to understand this from the inside. And it really helps to have someone who can guide you. And you see this in all successful people. They all had mentors, they all had coaches, and they are always on the look for the next mentor for the next stage. To find out these things by yourself is really, really hard. What will help you with this? Like doing anything which makes the inner voice louder and the voices of the mind quieter. So meditation and things where you look after yourself, where you get rid of stress, this will all help you to understand what you're really supposed to do. And then it's really hard to let go of things which served you, and then to understand now it's time for something else. Because you have to do sometimes the opposite things of what you did before, and things you're really afraid of. And when you ask yourself, why am I afraid of this? What will happen if I do this? And you go through all of this, then you will find out every fear is a fear of death. Okay, if I'm not good enough, then maybe someone will become angry if I do a bad job, and then maybe they are stronger than me, and then they will kill me or something. Or maybe if I do this, people will not like me, and if they don't like me, they will talk about me, no one will like me, and then I'm alone, and then I will die. So if you really look at each and every fear, it's ultimately always a fear of death. And it's kind of true, because if you do the things you're afraid of, some part of you dies, some part of the mind, the old programming, what you don't need anymore. But it's good, because this has never been you. It's just now it's become an unnecessary path, an unnecessary part of you, and you can get rid of it, let it die, and then you progress to the next stage. You have to sacrifice your old self for the new self.
Yeah, you gotta make space. Like, you cannot load any more movies to the disc on key that you have if you will not let shit out.
And it won't work. You cannot have the contrary programming. As a frog, you cannot still have thinking, oh, I should breathe water. No, now you have a new programming. You have to get rid of the old self to create the new self. This is why I call myself Samim the Destroyer on Instagram, because this is part of creation and life. Destroying, creating, preserving. You have to destroy your old self to create the new self, and then become the best version of the new self. This preserving it, enhancing it, until you're done with this stage, and then again you have to destroy it.
Yeah, and the more you do it, the more you're starting to recognize that you are able to do it. Right. And like the more you do it, suddenly the voices are becoming louder, like you say, and you're getting this pattern to you know, it's easy to let go of things that makes you feel bad and shit, and you know, but at some point we gotta understand that some of the things that make us feel good, we also need to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because okay, it makes you feel good, but does it make you feel too comfortable?
At what price?
You know, yeah, feeling good. You know, this achievement of the humankind to just, oh, I want to feel good, I want to feel safe, you don't need to feel good 100% of the time.
Right.
You need struggle. You need to feel like shit sometimes in order to understand, okay, this is the best way my body and my mind is telling me what I do good or not good. If I feel like shit, okay, there's something I need to change. But how can you know, what patterns do you have to recognize things that you don't need anymore, but doesn't make you feel bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's also, should I get rid of it? But I like it. These are the reasons I like it. Again, what does it lead to? If I still do this, it will lead to maybe that I will never fulfill my purpose, and I will stay lazy and don't progress in life. It makes me feel good, but do I really want what it will lead to?
Yeah.
Probably not. So it's again, what are the fruits of this behavior? Look at the fruits. This will always tell you the truth.
And another question I had toward what you said previously, like, what is our deal with death? Like, why are we so afraid of death? Because as I see it, it's a cycle. You were so happy when you got born, and everybody was so happy when you got born. Why be sad when you go? You know, it's just the two sides of the same coin. You know, but why are we as humans from the start of the history? Why are we so afraid of death? Why are we so afraid of dying?
I think it's only the mind which is afraid of dying. And it's so ironic because the mind is not alive. It thinks it's alive, and its biggest fear is dying, but it's just an illusion because it's not alive from the first place. The mind needs to understand that constantly destruction and death and being born again and life is constantly happening. Constantly. It's not just, oh, you were born one day and one day you die. You die every day, and it's a good thing, because life is when things change. When things stay the same, that's not life. And the mind wants to always everything to stay the same. It's afraid of change. But change, this is the moment when I feel most alive. And dying is the moment where I feel most alive. What do I mean by this? When you do something you're afraid of, it really feels like dying. It becomes hot. Everything becomes smaller inside myself, and it's like, oh no, it's like this invisible barriers, and I want to don't do this. This feels like dying. Same like you are standing on a bridge and go to the edge and think about jumping. It will give you the same feeling. It's the fear of death. And when you go over the fear of death, suddenly you feel so good. If you talk to the girl you see and you think she's really attractive, even though you have this fear inside yourself, when you go over the fear, this is the moment where you feel most alive. So you shouldn't be afraid of death, because this is the moment you're most alive.
And before we finish this, I have something that I wanted to ask you even from the start. Like, you told me that you won the Germany competition for breakdancing.
Yeah.
Guide me through this experience. How does it feel like winning in a thing that you love to do?
Back then, I was not feeling as good as I expected, because I did breakdancing for many years and was such a big passion of mine, but a lot of it I did out of fear also. I wanted to become better and show other people what I can do. It's the wrong reasons. You have to do it because it's fun to you. And of course, it was also fun for me, but also these other reasons and fears were present. And it was always about showing the best tricks and doing crazy acrobatic things. Because breakdancing is very, very individual, right? It's an art, and you can do whatever you want. You have to find your own style. And in breakdancing, there's a lot of dancing, but also a lot of acrobatics. And for me, the dancing part was never good enough. I was like, no, this is boring. I have to be more extreme so people see how good I am. So I was hiding my dancing, and I was doing a lot of the acrobatic stuff, which also helped me to progress and to reach new levels and to become really good at it. But I was hiding a big important part, and the dancing is also an expression of your soul. And every time when I went to a breakdance battle, for example, there, and when you go and you have a set and you dance, then usually you have to start with a little bit of dancing, and then you can do your acrobatic moves. And I always felt really bad when I was doing the dancing. I was like, oh, nobody likes this, and what am I doing here even? And okay, now I can do the acrobatic stuff. Now I'm someone again. Now it's good enough.
It's always comes with a prize. I need to do that because I think that's what they like.
Yeah.
For me to do what I like, which is all second, because I think that they think like that. And mental mess, bro.
Mental mess. And same was when I was on the stage on the national championships. I was so nervous. There were 8,000 people. I think it was the biggest stage I was on. And it was... I was so nervous and afraid, and I was 10% as good as I could be.
Yeah.
Still, I did all my moves, everything worked out. But also after the battle, I was not really happy. I was thinking about all the things which went wrong, which didn't went my way. And then this was before the time where I stopped dancing, where I was trying to reprogram myself. And then at some point, I understood that I need my passion, I need to do the things I love. And then I started dancing again. But then I started dancing again for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do it, and I have a lot of fun. And the dancing part now is one of my favorite parts, and it's so cool. And I was always telling myself, this is the part you cannot do, but now I became really good at it, and I get compliments from other people for my dancing, and I'm like, what? Who? I? Same is true with other fears. You asked me before about certain fears I had. I really had problems, and when I was struggling with talking. I was having confidence issues, and I was stuttering a lot in my past. But I was also really good at hiding it. I had some different techniques. Oh, I cannot say this word, so I will use a synonym or structure my phrase differently, the sentence I want to say. And always having this in the back of your mind, it was so draining. For example, I was standing in line at McDonald's and there were 2 or 3 people in front of me and I was like, oh no, soon it's my turn. I hope I don't say anything wrong. I hope I won't stutter. I hope I won't look dumb. And now speaking is my superpower. And people give me compliments for my speaking. It's still like, oh, wow, who, me? But that's how the universe does it. If you are supposed to become really good at something, you get a lot of obstacles in exactly this thing. So, for example, the flirt coach, when you become a flirt coach, probably this person was the shyest of all and had a lot of problems with women and a lot of problems with his confidence. So he had to go through all this to make this a strength and now to teach it to other people. If the universe wants to make you strong in a certain thing, okay, we want this tree to become really strong. Then the tree will get hard winters, a lot of wind, tricky situations it has to overcome. So it will become a strong tree.
Yeah.
And the mind likes to tell you, oh, you're not made for this. Look how much you're struggling. No, that's the exact reason why you are made for this.
Yes, because at the bottom line, when we as humankind will understand that the solution is through the fear,
yes,
and we will stop engaging with this identifying mind that is like, oh no, it makes me feel bad, I need to steer to another direction, but look straight away in the fear in the eyes and say, I'm coming for you, motherfucker. And who is scared is not me from you. You should be scared of me. Because I'm coming and I'm going to destroy you and whatever else I think, because I care about being better more than I care about how much I fear from something.
Wow.
And I want to thank you for this, brother. You're a very intelligent mind, and I was hoping that will be exactly like it was. And thank you so much, man.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for having me. I would still have one topic we could talk about.
Go for it.
Because what you said, it's...
Go for it.
Can I use the toilet before?
Yeah, go for it.
It's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Or you just said something like, when you look at your fears, you're like, no, I'm coming for you. I'm not afraid of you. And pushing out this male energy. And this is exactly right for men.
Yeah.
And what we talked about before, it's not always about feeling good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to feel like shit in order to change.
Yeah.
This is true for men, but not for women. Of course, we can achieve the same things, but the paths how we can achieve these different things are totally different. I have a lot of female clients. Mainly, I have mainly female clients or female men with female energy. And for women, it's like they have to feel good in order to change. They have to feel as good as possible. They have to feel loved. They have to feel beautiful. They have to feel all the positive things. And this will help the woman to make right decisions and to grow.
Yeah.
But for men, it's the opposite. We have to feel like shit. We have to feel like, I feel like a piece of shit. I have to change. Come on, do it. Okay? And this is really important. And if a man gets too comfortable, this will destroy a man. And I think this is a big problem of society right now, that we forgot that we function differently.
Yeah.
And when you put too much stress on women, it's not good for them. It's like if you say, oh, this is the fear, I will conquer it, come on, kick yourself in the ass. This will put a lot of pressure on a woman.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have to think like this. Oh, this will not feel good for me. And it doesn't. And it will not help her to achieve the goal. It could make her crumble.
Why do you think that is, with us males, because I can get the idea that it's like coming from a primal way. You know, we used to live in caves. We needed to protect. We needed to provide. But what reason? How does it serve us to be constantly in this like approach of like, oh, I feel like shit, I need to do that? Why is our strength and energy coming from there and not from the self-acceptance of like, yeah, I want to do what I want to do because I fucking want to do it? Why do I have to feel like shit 99% of the time?
It's just how men were created. They are a representation of the male energy, and women are a representation of the female energy.
Yeah.
And this came long before humans. The whole universe is made out of male and female energy, even before humans.
Yeah.
And everything is a combination of both. A rose, the flower of the rose is the female energy, and the thorns of the rose is the male energy.
Yeah.
And the male energy is saying no, female energy is saying yes. And always saying yes you will walk in circles, and always saying no, you will walk in circles. So you need both. Both are really important. But how they work and what they are for is totally different. So the female energy is about connecting, it's about empathy, about positivity. This is the divine energy, what we are all made of, what God is made of, what the universe is made of, pure positivity. And this is also the word where we're coming from. It's like, I see it like a lake of love and positivity. This is the word of our dreams, where we go each night. Our soul, which is made of this female energy, will go back into this lake and feel really good. But it also comes back to your body in order to experience the physical world. And men are a representation of the physical world. Men are a representation of matter. And matter is in its essence pure anger and hate and no. And this is the energy we are made of. And if you channel it in a right way, it's the energy for creating things. It's like, oh, I have to do this. Come on, I have to do this shit. I have to create it. I have to create the business. I have to ask the girl out. Whatever it is, it comes from not taking your shit anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? And this, how women talk to each other, and they are like a tool which likes to use the female energy, and men are like a tool which like to use the negative energy.
Yeah.
And this will strengthen women. They talk to each other like this. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're the best. And giving love to each other. And what do men do? They're like,
talking shit.
Yeah, talking shit, giving us shit. And even when we encourage ourselves, the energy is negative. We scream at each other. It's like aggressive. But the words are like, you can do it. Come on, man. You're a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Come on. It's negative energy.
Yeah.
And even when we have a heated discussion, the other day I had a heated discussion with a person in the cake shop. And
what a lovely place to have the
and I was talking about the same topic. That I'm disgusted by a lot of these men on this island because they're only in their female energy and they are lazy fucks, and this is why they don't do anything out of their lives. They don't serve any purpose for themselves, for their families, or for society, right? And so after we had this heated discussion, I felt really good, and it was at the end it was a really positive discussion. And he also felt really good, and we even go into the ring and punch each other and feel good afterwards. This is what we need. This is the energy we thrive on. And give them what they need. Okay?
And exactly like that, if we're gonna sum it up and go the full circle, like like we're combining the male and female energy to create the concept of a new child.
Right.
The moment we will see the same exact connection with science and spirituality,
Wow,
and
yeah.
connect them
Yes.
with both the male and female energy that they have, you know, because
Right.
spirituality is so circular and science is so, you know, like lines and structure. And the moment we will connect it, I cannot even imagine what the baby is going to look like, because the baby is the new world that you talk about. The moment you're
Yes.
not longer thinking about this or that, it's a combination of that.
I will tell you what it looks like.
Please.
This is the essence of the key. The key is using science or rationality and logic to explain spiritual concepts. And this is what I do in my what I teach in my classes. I can talk about all these things what we in the past we were like, oh, you can feel your intuition, but the mind-driven people, they don't understand this. They need a new language, and this is the key. It's a rational way to explain spirituality and metaphysics.
So for someone that now sat for an hour and 10 minutes listening to you, give him a tip to start getting on top of his shit.
First of all, you have to understand what you want to do in life, right? So my background as a business coach, I found out the best business methods cannot help you. The best strategy cannot help you if you don't know what path you're going.
Yeah.
So first of all, find out what is your path. And if you have problems finding out what your path is, try to quiet the mind more, do meditation, fast, do things which give you energy, and then you will maybe understand more clearly. And then it's really about, okay, this is my path. Now what I have to change in order to achieve this path, to go towards this path. Because you already know these questions. You can, maybe I could recommend, sit down with a friend and talk to each other, and then go have a really deep conversation. And this is actually what a coach does. I ask the right questions because you already have all the answers inside you.
Yeah.
But the answers will not come out if you are always in your head. You have to take action, or at least speak loudly with yourself, not inside your head. Already this little change will help you to have better quality in your thoughts, and they will become more true. The more they become more real, and they are more real when you say it out loud than when they are in your head.
100%, brother. KohPhanCast, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you. Cool.
Join the journey, stay for a while.